Most men, when something goes wrong, maybe a relationship ends, a friendship blows up with a woman, and for a lot of you guys, life is going to hit you one way or another instantly. And unfortunately, for a lot of young men out there, this is the moment because of an open loop. They begin to build their case. They go through every text, they go through every argument, they go through every moment where the woman messed up. And mentally, they start to collect evidence. They rehearse a story in their head. They tell their boys, they get validated, and it feels right. And even maybe it's 1 year later, 5 years later, they're still telling the same story, still angry, still stuck, still waiting for something to change. And what you need to see is that this man's marriage ended, and he had every reason to build a case. He had receipts, and he would have been right. He even said so himself. But what happened was he chose something different. And this is the choice is the reason why this young man became a better man instead of a better victim. And here is what he said, and this is what you need to hear. Check this out.
When I got divorced, I could have pointed out all the things that she did wrong and all the things that she did to me. I could have played the victim because I ended up filing for divorce after she left and we separated. I could have just sat there and played victim. I could have pointed the finger at her and said, she did this, she did that, she did this. And I would have been right, and I would have sounded right for my side of the story.
Wow. Amazing. And I want you to listen to what he said. I would have been right. He's not saying that she was innocent, and he's not saying what happened or didn't happen. And that is being right sometimes is going to keep you in the past. Sometimes being right makes you think or feel that the other person or the main character in your story becomes the person that you're looking at to see yourself as. Being right sometimes is good for about 2 weeks, and then that being right starts to rot. And because nothing moves, nothing changes, you're just standing in the same old spot, holding on the same scoreboard that doesn't move or matter anymore. Now, I want you to I want y'all to think about this. The man that you know who you are sometimes is always going to play the victim in the story that you tell people, because nobody does right by them when they're hurting. Every relationship ends because of what the other person did. Every job ends and the boss had it out for them, or every friendship fell apart because of what the other person said. And I want to ask you, do those men that think that way, do they seem free or are they trapped? But here's the truth about everything and playing the victim and having that open loop. I get it, man. It feels like protection. It feels like that you're shedding yourself from responsibility. But what you're actually doing is you're handing over your life and your control over to the person that wronged you, whether it's the woman or whatever. You made them the reason why you can't move, and you made them the reason why you are angry, and you made them the most important part of your story. But if you listen to what this young man is saying, he refused to do that. And that refusal right there, that single decision that he made, is where his life actually started at. Here we go.
But I didn't choose that, because if I'm going to go off and continue to live my life and be good for someone else, most importantly, be good for myself and be good enough to go build the life that I want, I had to be accountable and look at myself. What did I do to contribute to that situation unfolding like it did? What did I do to hurt myself, hurt other people? I turned to myself. And when I turned to myself, that shit made me go right back to my childhood.
Wow. 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 That is so amazing, man. I turned to myself, and that took me right back to my childhood. With that is part of the wound. But gentlemen, this is the part that most men skip, and it's the most expensive mistake that a man can make. He didn't just say that he needed to do better. That was surface level. Anybody can say that anytime, anywhere. The young man went deeper, and he said, when I look inward, that's the closed loop. When I look inward, it took me all the way back to my childhood. And the thing is why does that matter? Because the way that you handle conflict right now and hurt and pain, the way you respond when a woman hurts you, excuse me, the way you respond when a woman hurts you, the way you care about a woman, the way you shut down or the way you blow up, the way you trust and the way you don't trust, okay? Almost all of it is programmed in you before you even turned 12 years old, before you had any say in it, guys. It's the reality that we're talking about. And guess what? If your father left and never came back, okay, for some of you guys, you probably have a fear of abandonment that you haven't named yet, okay? And if you grew up watching people yell to communicate, you probably yell when you feel that you are unheard. You love your house, okay? That's what I want you to understand. But sometimes your house and your home that you grew up in came with conditions. And so what happens is, because of those conditions, for many of you guys out there, you might be working overtime to earn somebody's love that doesn't even deserve you, okay? See, you didn't choose programs, but the problem is, until you learn the game, you realize that you're running them. In every relationship that you have with a woman, man, every argument, every reaction that you cannot explain, okay? The thing about this young man, he got himself some help. Not because he was broken, but because he looked at everything smart. He looked at the pattern, okay? And he knew the source code of his behavior was in his past. And that's what the game is going to teach you, to look at the wounds of your past and not to hold you down or hold you back. But he wasn't going to fix the symptoms without addressing the root of those things. You don't have to wait until a marriage ends to do this work. You can do that right now. The question isn't, what did they do to me? The question is where did I learn to respond this way? And does that response even serve me? It's a question that people need to think about and something they need to ask.
That's when I got into therapy. That's when I started to work out, read, educate myself, and I started a journey of personal development because I wanted to be better. That was my second long-term relationship. I wasn't finna have a third one where I have the exact same problems. I looked at myself. I made sure that I did what I had to do to get me better. I got in shape. I got smarter. I got wiser. I made more money. I learned more about myself, which means I got more self-aware. All that. I just became a better man. Doing all this, I wasn't worrying about the other person. I was worrying about me. So when life kick your ass, when you go through divorce, breakups, when you go through anything, be accountable and turn within. Turn within yourself.
One thought, one mind, one way. See, this is the whole lesson, gentlemen, in 4 words. Be accountable, turn within. See, he didn't get into shape to make her regret leaving. He didn't read any books to seem or try to be more impressive. He didn't make more money to prove a point to anybody. He did all of this for one reason, because he wasn't going to make the same mistake a third time. He got into shape. He got smarter. He got wiser. He made more money, and he got more self-aware. And he said that I'm doing all of this. I'm not worried about the other person. I'm worried about me. And that's the shift that is going to start to close the loop. That's the whole entire shift. Because most men, unfortunately, after pain, they always want to focus outward. Okay, sometimes you want that woman to suffer the way you suffered, and they want people to see that they're doing fine. Some of them want revenge, some want sympathy, some want validation, and they're still playing this game for people just so they can just watch him demise. And see, when you learn the game, one thought, one mind, one way, and you turn within, you're playing a different game entirely. Okay, you're not competing with yesterday or the yesterday version of yourself. Okay, what you're doing is that you're having a conversation with the understanding of yourself, asking, am I better today than I was yesterday? That's it. That's the whole game, gentlemen. And that's what happens when you play the game long enough. You become somebody new, not because your life got easier. It's just because you got better. The world responds differently when you become that person, okay? So what I want you to do, guys, and I want to give you an exercise and I want you to do this at a piece of paper, okay? What I did versus what I could have done. And before we finish, I want you to do something, okay? I just want you to get a piece of paper and open your notes, okay? And do this. What I want you to do is I want you guys to think about the last time something went wrong with you guys. Maybe it's in a relationship or a situation with a woman, and maybe she upset you. Maybe she hurt you, or maybe she made you feel bad, okay? And I don't want you to say it out loud. I just want you to hold that in your mind. And what I want you to do on a piece of paper is just draw a line all the way down there with 2 columns. On the left-hand side, gentlemen, I want you to title it, What Happened? And I want you to write down what they did, what the situation was, what went wrong, but I need you to be honest, okay? Don't leave anything out. Just be straight up honest, okay? But on the right-hand side, I want you to write, what did I do to contribute to that, okay? And this is going to be the hard one right here, okay? Not what you did and not how you made it worse, okay? What you did to bring out the situation that you wrote about, okay? What did you do or not do, okay? And see, that's going to help you make things unfold what you did, okay? And not ignore it, okay? This is not about what you avoid to say or the pattern that you were running, okay? It's just a lesson from the point, okay? The left column that you write everything doesn't give you power, okay? The right column is the one that gives you power. See, the beautiful thing about what you just did right there is that you cannot change what that person did on the left-hand side, but you can always change what you wrote about on that right-hand side. And that's the lesson, okay? You just have to ask yourself, what have I learned from this? Because it didn't start with the situation. It started somewhere earlier, even before you met that person, okay? And that's the lesson, okay? Just write that down for yourself. It's just an exercise, man. It's just something I want you guys to think about, because I just don't want to just react things. It's not about reaction. It's about me trying to give you things to help you out, okay? So gentlemen, please understand this. If this hits you, okay, and you recognize yourself or somebody that is in this video that needs this kind of help, okay? All right, you just give me 100 in there if you understand what I'm talking about, okay? Because at the end of the day, the man who can name where he is already on his way to something better. And if you know any young man out there or any friend of yours who needs to hear this, maybe it's your younger brother, maybe it's your cousin, maybe it's a friend going through something right now, send this to him. Not because it's a good video. I make good videos, but because you know what? It might be exactly what they need at the right time, okay? Always remember, gentlemen, turn within. That's the work. I'll see you on the next one.